The War Thunder auction house is here, but is it really as bad as you think it is? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ratcast. This week we're going to be talking about the War Thunder auction house. I got Modrat here with me. Say hi, Modrat.
Howdy.
And so I guess we're a little bit behind on this. The auction house has been out already. It's actually passed. But we wanted to give time to make sure that, kind of everything happened. War Thunder made all their statements and everyone had their experience with it before we went around saying a whole bunch of stuff that turned out not to be true. So there's not a scheduled second auction house yet, right? This has just been a one-off thing, and now they're working on it, right, Modrat?
So far, they completed what they're calling their test phase of it, which is probably seeing what everyone had to yell about it so they can come up with a PR reason for why they're bringing it back the next time.
Well, yeah, because especially with Gaijin, whenever they do something really egregious, you never see them, fix the issue. They come out with, yeah, exactly. They come out, with their PR reason as to why it's bad. They don't ever go, oh, we see that wasn't well received and we're going to fix it. It's like, we see you guys were complaining that this was a terrible system, but here's why that's okay, is Gaijin's, favorite move from time to time.
Well, because it takes so long to develop these things, they're very reluctant to just get rid of it. I mean, this auction house is one of the developers said on the forums has been in the work for multiple years now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been in the game files forever, hasn't it?
I think it started showing up like 2 years ago, but the developer said it's been an ongoing many-year-long project that they've been working on, trying to get it refined.
Which I guess,
and apparently they didn't do a perfect job of it, because that's half the reason the video's out so late. It kept changing
right,
the way
exactly.
it was set up, what they were saying it was going to work. I mean, all the way to the very end when all the auction prices were out, they were like, okay, the top 100 people only had to pay the smallest winning bid, even though that wasn't originally what was going to happen. It seems like they can't even keep the way the system works consistent. That's why it took us so long to make this.
Yeah, so I guess before we keep going right along, maybe we should talk about exactly what an auction house is and what the War Thunder auction house is, before we get too far gone with our opinions and stuff. So this is a system, right, it's already in, is it in World of Tanks? This system already kind of exists?
It's in a lot of other games.
It's in a lot of games. I don't play any game that has this besides War Thunder, so I don't know. So it works by basically what? They take certain decals, certain skins, certain vehicles, and put them into a place. You had to bet on them instead of buying them, essentially.
So the vehicles thing hasn't happened yet, and that's what people's fear are. And I guess we can circle back around to it later. They did have a statement about whether they're ever going to put vehicles in, but this time it was 2 camouflages and a profile icon border.
Oh, here they are.
Yeah, and
the frame.
There were 100 lots, and the top 100 bids out of everyone in the entire game would receive it.
Okay, so
that's essentially how it works.
So there were no vehicles this time. It was just camos and frames and whatever.
It was just camos and frames, and you just put your bid in and hope you were in the top 100, or keep bidding to ensure you were in the top 100 to receive it. And then they also had a special decal that all of the people who got a winning bid would receive.
Which I guess is important to talk about. I guess the first thing that I don't like about this system is how exactly you have to bid and stuff. So you don't bid with money that you can get back out if you lose. You bid in Gaijin coin, right? They have to buy first.
Yes, and it's to avoid gambling laws in many countries.
Right. So the whole problem is
putting it into Gaijin coin to bid on the stuff, but you can't take Gaijin coin back into real money, so technically not gambling under a lot of international laws.
Yeah, so I mean, for people that already don't like things like auctions, that think it's like gambling and stuff. So the way an auction works in real life, right, obviously, is that there's an item and everyone bids on it, then the highest bidder, wins the object. But this is really a lot worse when you think about it, because you're not betting with money, and if you lose, you get it back. Because to bid, you have to have the Gaijin coin in your account already, right? It's like you can bid Gaijin coin and then pay. You have to have the Gaijin coin first, right?
You basically have to give Gaijin money to participate in a thing that you might not even get. So everyone who ever participates ever with the auction house in any way, and the final bid on the item frame was $150. The bidding started all the way down at 25 cents.
Yeah,
and it got driven up that high. So every single person who, all the way from 25 cent all the way to, I think the final lowest bid was like $30 on it. All of them put money in they could never get back, even though all the people behind their bid got outbid and they didn't follow it up with an even higher bid.
Right. So I mean, everyone loses. I mean, this is a massive everyone loses system. The top 100 people win, but everyone who bids has to put money in, and you don't get it back. Now you get it back, but it doesn't go towards the auction or something. But I mean, the Gaijin coin stays on your account, but that money is just lost in the Gaijin.
Gaijin has made their money now, right. Essentially.
Now you can use your Gaijin coin to buy something else, but you have to keep it in Gaijin, which is kind of, I mean, that's really messed up to me. So you're basically just begging people for money, giving some of them an item, then telling everyone else, well, you got some Gaijin coin now, you can go buy something else. I mean, it's
well, and the other thing too is they're double dipping. So in 180 days, in half a year, the coupons that people received from their winning bids are going to be able to be sold on the Gaijin market. And I mean, people had to pay $34, $35 for all of this stuff because they reverted it to everyone paid whatever the lowest winning bid was. That's going to be like the starting price. No one's going to want less money back from their winning gamble. And if anything, it's probably going to be astronomical. So now people are going to FOMO miss out on this, and then in 180 days, see the limited number of them again and get another massive FOMO surge to try to get these things. It's their last opportunity.
Which, so you keep saying they reverted it to the last lowest bid. Do you mean like whoever like number 100 paid, like they made that price for everyone?
So number one, it's weird to say the first winning bid or not because they switched it. The first winning bid used to be the highest bid, and then they changed it to the lowest winning bid is technically first place. Like they're spending the least amount of money to get to it.
Okay.
So when you open the screen, you're like, oh, it's only $30 to participate. The highest bidding person, which on the item frame was like 120, only had to pay out whatever the lowest winning bid was. So that $30, and everyone who did like 50, 60, 80, 100, all of them only paid the $30 of place number 100 before they flipped it, and now technically place number 1 because they flipped it. Just that absolute minimum amount of money it took to get the item, everyone just paid that, which was not the original promise, by the way. Originally, they were going to take it regardless, which incentivized people to put massive bids in. But now it's just nickel and diming to try to keep it as low as possible.
But now, wouldn't that also have? But now, if you had the number one bid is in the highest bid, you still had to buy the Gaijin coin originally, right?
You still had to buy. That guy still had to buy it or sell vehicles on the market, which means someone else paid in Gaijin coin, which means they put the money in. Someone put in at some way 125 actual real life dollars to turn into Gaijin coin.
So they really didn't do
you
you
a favor.
And he had to have
that. No.
I mean, okay, they kind of does.
Because the money's still in the system, regardless. That's why they try to do the good guy thing of saying, okay, you only have to pay out this much. Because they already have the money.
Right, they're not doing it. They're not really doing you a favor in any way. Also, doesn't Gaijin take like 20% of each Gaijin coin interaction or something anyway?
Yeah, it's already bleeding the system out. 20%.
So yeah. So let's say you want to participate in this. You sold a vehicle that you kind of like because you really wanted this like limited time item, which, okay, I guess you didn't have to. But you sold it for 100 Gaijin coin. You only got 80. Then you bet it, and then they're like, oh, you can have it back. Now you sold the thing that you wanted. You got it back for less, and you could have had the thing anyway. They're really just messing people up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, I mean, you can see now, of course, these, I don't know if you guys have ever been on this website where they have the forums and stuff. No one here is ever happy, but people do not seem happy at all, right? This is incredibly predatory, a way to create FOMO and make money. Shame on you. I mean, this is one of the worst mechanics I've ever seen in any game that's predatory and disgusting. Please stop. Yeah, I mean, yeah, bruh, cringe. I mean, it is gross, I have to say. This is really nasty behavior, if you ask me.
And the biggest sign of how predatory it is, it's not available to console.
Well, yeah,
a lot of things Gaijin does, like the marketing stuff, is not available on console. Because console platforms, which are largely marketed towards children in some capacity, I'm sure not every 10-year-old's going out and buying a $500 new gaming set, but because they have such a large child market, there's a lot more regulation so that people like PlayStation and Xbox don't get sued for allowing games that are very predatory on. And it's really a big sign of how predatory the system is that console players just can't use it. Because console companies are like, no, we're going to get sued for exploitation for having this system in. That's why there's so much, oh, this only comes out on console, this only comes out on War Thunder, back and forth, is a lot of it has to do with console's own regulations to avoid being sued for kids basically getting brought into gambling, which is all this is.
Which now, in slight fairness, doesn't it also to do with like the contracts? Like to have your game on a console, don't they regulate all the microtransactions and stuff?
So that's usually when like the sales and stuff are going on.
Right.
But this whole Gaijin coin system could be used because you're basically buying in-game currency and using in-game currency in the game. But it has that extra step of trying to get people to buy massive amounts of currency to gamble with that most consoles do not want to mess with that at all.
Well, and then I mean another thing was, so I guess it's kind of shifting topics a little bit. So there were no vehicles available this time. It was only skins in this item frame right here.
Yes.
Has there been have they said anything about putting in vehicles in the future or anything, or is this just all speculation right now?
So there have been several releases. Todace is one of the developers that put a big release about it out. And he said they have no intention of making vehicles exclusive and unobtainable in any other way than the auction house.
Okay. What does that mean? That can mean anything.
But also in the same thing where he goes on and on about how like developers never want to remove things and players never access them. By the way, he made that statement the same week they got rid of the R2Y2s. He's talking about how the developers never, ever, ever want to have vehicles added to the game that are exclusive that people can't have in the same week they remove the R2Y2s.
I mean,
which would be a sign that maybe even the developers don't have control over this. But at the very end of his post, he talks about they're looking into a system where people who he has this whole thing about how people on the forums are upset that they get camouflages through like esports or pulling out of crates and stuff, and they don't have access to the vehicle to use it. And he was talking about the idea of implementing a system where if you have the skin through the auction house, you either for a temporary time or permanently get the vehicle to use it with. So now you've just turned everything on its head.
Yeah.
So now people aren't bidding on the camouflage anymore. You know, how much is a Tech Tree vehicle worth if you could just buy it? How much is an Abrams Sep 2? How much is a Pantsir? How much is a Raphael? How much is a F-15? When now there's an auction house system where, yeah, you're getting the skin, but you're also buying the best vehicle in the game. And then he has another little thing where he talks about earlier in, I don't know if this was a slip up or if he didn't mean to type it this way. He has a little thing about like, that's why we try to bring vehicles back, like the mouse every year or the E100. But the E100 hasn't come back yet. At all.
Not even.
There's no way to access it. You can get it on the Gaijin market technically if people are selling it, but it's never come back for people to get like the mouse, which is weird for him to mention that in the same post he's talking about selling camouflages that gives people access to vehicles. So now we're going to start auction housing off skins that give you access to drive the E100 around?
Well, yeah. Well,
it's a weird thing to bring up.
Didn't the E100 come back in some capacity? Sorry if you hear my dog barking. I can't get him to be quiet.
It's only ever been, if I remember correctly, it was only ever in like competitive. They had a competitive thing, and there were 2 competitive events you could get the E100 in.
Because I thought there was. Oh, is that what it was? You had to play? Because remember, we made a video covering how to get the E100. It came back for a period. Is that what it was? Like competitive?
This channel didn't exist back when they brought it back.
No, you remember we put we put some video.
You're talking about the mouse. You're thinking about the mouse. It's the mouse you're thinking of.
Is that what I'm thinking about? It's crazy. Oh, well.
Yeah, no, the E100 hasn't been back forever.
Oh, What was that whole stupid? You remember? If you this is a little bit off topic, but now I'm curious. I remember pointing out this whole crazy tutorial about how you could get like a chance to win one of these things if you like.
It was an IS-7.
An IS-7. That's what I. Sorry, everyone. That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, remember that?
Another gambling thing, which at least you didn't have to spend money on that one.
Yeah, because wasn't it like you
just had to complete an event?
Yeah, wasn't it like you like completed an? I thought it was to do with their
you
streams or something.
You had to get the KV-7, then play a bunch of games to get a chance to win one of the 7 IS-7s they announced on one of their streams.
Oh, that's right. I remember making the tutorial video for that. That was wild. That was like the stupidest thing yet. Right? You had to do the event, unlock the KV-7, like play a certain game mode with it. Then, if you did it enough, they would like give away 4 of them or whatever. That was
Which is actually a good point to bring it up. The IS-7 is one of those vehicles that was incredibly expensive, and they got a ton of people to spend GE to finish out events because they announced it like halfway through the KB event. They really hyped it up and they gave out a very small amount. And now they're talking about the E100 coming back, even though it isn't in the context of a gambling market. It's one of the most FOMO vehicles like in War Thunder history. It's super expensive, and you're bringing it up during a thing talking about expansion of the auction house to include vehicles, when you did a similar thing with the IS-7 to get more people to start the event, to pay money to finish out the event for a tiny, infinitesimally small chance to get an IS-7. Now we might have an infinitesimally small amount of chance to get an E100. It seems to be pretty in line, which is what makes me so worried about why he's randomly bringing it up in this.
Which at least this will be 100 as opposed to a 7. At least that.
I mean,
that's still basically nothing.
100 across the entire game.
Right, which is nothing. There's like what? How many concurrent players in any given time? Like 200,000.
There's like millions of players. As of right now, I have the game pulled up. There's 170,000 people playing.
I mean, that's just silly. I mean,
and also they never said it would only be 100. They could increase it. They could decrease it. This was just a test. All rules are off. Anything can happen. It was just a test period.
Which I guess, usually when we try to wrap up topics like this, we always try to talk about, like, like when we talk about the Battle Pass, we try to talk about, like, what can make it better. Like, if you wanted to take away stuff, that'd be fine. Maybe make it a little bit cheaper or something. I don't really know how they could make this better. This is just a terrible thing. I mean, you're...
Well, and I love the way they're trying to sell it. Because the way they were trying to sell it was, we hated the loot crate system where you had to get boxes for random skins or vehicles. Or we hated this, that, and the other. We wanted to introduce a system that guarantees you're able to get the thing. Well, it doesn't. Someone can snipe out your bid from you. And if you were so concerned about people getting guaranteed skins and stuff, make it a GE skin. Make it a grindable skin. Do an event. There's 100 other things. They just see this as an even better way to make money. Because at the end of the day, the current skin system, skins are like worthless.
Right.
Compared to this. You're getting people to dump tons of money. You're giving it to a very few amount of people, which is going to increase the bids later on, because people are like, okay, I need to bid more this time, so I need to get more GE in order to compete even better at this time. You're getting people to put in $10, $20, $30. I mean, I'm looking at the skin market right now. If you want a customized SU-34 skin, it's $1.95.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is, the issue with why I don't think they're going to get rid of this, because I said, I'm trying to bring it back to how could you make it better. I mean, okay, yeah, just sell the items, but the problem is, yeah, when you sell a skin, you could sell it for $1, but now you suddenly put in this auction house, now you can get, 30, 40, $50.
You can get 100 people to spend $100 and 1 million people to put $20 on their account.
Yeah, so my advice is, if you want to fix this, which is not going to work. This is like screaming into the void. This is like telling people not to buy scalped goods. Just don't participate. Don't do it.
The problem is they only need 100 idiots.
Right.
And there are 100 people with too much money and way too petty to not get these things.
Right.
As long as they can get 100 people to manipulate the market, they'll always be getting someone to show up.
Oh, definitely.
And put a little extra money in.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Don't let Gaijin try to charge you, like, whatever. Okay, even if they do put the E100 or something in there, at least that's a vehicle. At least that's a thing. At least it actually has some value in War Thunder. Don't let them take $20 from you, for a skin. Just don't do it. Just don't buy it.
Even for the vehicles, though. if they start doing the vehicles, who says in the future they're not going to start making exclusive vehicles?
Well, yeah, of course.
Also, now we're never going to get a chance to get an E100 without having to spend $150, which is still cheaper than finding it on the market whenever they get listed. So clearly, it's a better system, right? When they could just as easily run the event again.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now that they have this avenue where they can guarantee themselves so much money, I imagine finding cool things for free or just doing the event is gonna be hard to come by.
I mean, it's why they're decreasing the value on the battle pass. They want people to stop doing that. That's why chests are all but dead. Essentially, what they're trying to do is just bludgeon it to death with this, and they are playing really hard on. This is going to be a way to support content creators. That's like the big heartstring to try to pull. Like, no, this exclusive thing we're doing, we're trying to do it to help out the content creators. In the chest, you could see who created them. In the old chest system,
right.
Gaijin doesn't tell you who makes these skins.
So
Gaijin doesn't tell you how they compensate them. The biggest thing about this stuff is, okay, you want us to care about the content creators? That's the heartstring you're trying to pull on us to make it like, yeah, it's a different system, but at least we're doing the right thing for the good old hardworking content creator. But we're not going to give them any recognition at all.
Right. Yeah,
I'd also like to point out the profile border is supposedly made by a content creator. At the time of the auction, they just so happened to have a content creator created border that they just found and used to support the content creator. They didn't have access to make the borders by the time the auction house came out. It's literally impossible that a content creator made that. They might have commissioned a content creator, but that's not what they're telling us. They're telling us they're finding people who make really good skins. The old system, like what we put in the crates, you put it on our on our website where people can download user-made skins. We find the ones we like, we put it in the chest, and we give you a kickback. And now we have things that aren't even available. We're claiming are from content creators that we won't tell you who they are. And you got to do the right thing and take part in our system because they really need recognition for their work, even though we won't say who it is.
Yeah. So commissioning someone is not the same thing. You just hired someone to do a job and paid them. Now you're bragging. That's just how buying things works. You haven't really done anything for the community. You just paid. Now, I guess you're still supporting someone by hiring them. But that's not the same thing, and they know that. First.
Well, how are they being compensated too?
Yeah, we don't know, right? Especially,
this could just be some bloke that's already on their Earth team.
Right, exactly. You never know. But yeah, so my final point here, and then my final call to action, and then my final thought is, yeah, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't let them talk you into it. I know it's pointless because, like you said, there's always going to be at least 100 people that don't listen. Just don't give them money. This is their chance to make $20 off of a $2 item. And my final thought, weirdly enough, is you were recently just doing those Twitch drop skins and decorations and stuff. I wonder.
I can't wait for us to be here for when they start adding gambling to the Twitch stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wonder how long that is that you can just watch a Twitch stream and then get like a skin and a decoration. I'm sure that's well on its way out. Or like how just randomly on different days you can do different missions to get decals and like decorations sometimes. I wonder how long that is. I think we're quickly moving because I've said it before that War Thunder is a relatively generous game. You can actually get a lot of stuff from War Thunder for free. I think the auction house is a huge step towards not anymore, Chief. I think we're going to everything, which whatever, but it's not gonna be as cool. It would definitely move very quickly if you want anything kind of neat or fun. $30, not even $2 or $3, like $30, $35 easily.
So I have a new call.
What's that?
On this. How much you want to bet when the next update comes out? They're going to advertise a set of 3 vehicles that are going to be in the update, and the auction house for the special update skin, and you immediately get access to the vehicle is going to start and it's going to end right on update day.
Oh, probably, right.
That's where I see this going. I would almost be willing to bet money, whatever the new jet is, whatever the new tank is, and I don't know, maybe a helicopter or a ship. They're going to be like, look at these cool new things. You can start bidding on them now. So second update comes out, not only will you be flying around in your own custom skin, you'll be the first one to access these vehicles. And we all know how broken these vehicles are when they just come out. Isn't that awesome? That's such great value. Bid, bid, bid.
Exactly. Yeah, and you brought that up in the middle, and I didn't have too much to say because I didn't know about that until just now when we sat down. the teasing the access to the vehicles through the skin. I mean, come on, like what are we doing? Like, I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, are we just gonna say that's nuts? You already covered it. That really blew me away. That's what we're gonna start doing now. I mean, so I'll go on.
It's also a bit of a kick in the teeth to your veteran players as well, who probably already have these vehicles and tanks, to be like, oh hey, all these other people who are making accounts to sell, by the way, they bought these things. That's why it's anonymous now who bid, because in the past, even when it was just event vehicles, there was a massive botting problem. There was they made it anonymous, so it's hard to see. I guarantee you there's a massive botting problem as well to create accounts to sell for this. Okay, I'm a veteran player. I ground out your vehicle. I'm having to compete with robots who are trying to sell people a vehicle I spent my entire career in this game to get on a premium account to get rid of, and so I just get a kick in the teeth because I have to compete with a value that isn't even associated with me because you don't want to make this a grindable skin.
Yeah, it is just silly. I mean, what a way to ask you too much for not enough, and then generically imply that you're gonna add more value sometimes, maybe if you feel like it. I mean, just what a scummy thing. Gaijin, this is dumb. I don't give them any money. You know, that's really all I gotta say on the matter. But you know, people will. So you know, too bad.
They're going to.
It's just sad. It's sad to see it happen. But
I can't wait to see how expensive these skins are going to be when they hit the market in 180 days.
It's gonna be horrible.
I wonder if they're going to link the access to the vehicle as well. Could you imagine a day where the Gaijin market has custom unique skins that allow you to get the best vehicle in the game as well?
I don't think they're going to. I don't think they're actually going to do that. I think they're just going to keep teasing that in hopes to keep propping up their numbers. I don't think they're actually going to even do that.
Well, the problem is the development team and the marketing team are, as the name implies, two different teams.
Right.
And I have a strange feeling the marketing team that makes the money is going to have more say in this.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know.
So if the developers are even mentioning that this might be a thing they're thinking about doing, the people who do run the marketing of Gaijin are probably already trying to shove it down their throats to force it through.
Yeah, probably. I'd still be surprised because I mean, these are the people now trying to get $200 from you for a skin. I guess we'll see. There'll be like a second. Who even knows?
Well, the problem is you're thinking about it wrong. They can get $200 out of a skin from you. So how much to attach a vehicle to that? How much money can they get out of you then?
I guess that's true. I mean, now you're like gambling on a subscription, basically. Yeah. I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. Okay, that hasn't happened yet. We'll cover that when it happens. But yeah, this is gross. But do you know what isn't gross, Modrat?
Strawberries. I like strawberries.
Well, that, and also, you know, checking out, you know, the rest of the videos, you know, here on the channel. You know, I have them all in a nice playlist. You can go through and just watch, you know, every single one of them back to back on repeat if you wanted to. And, you know, what else is also not gross is checking out our Discord or maybe our Patreon where you can join our nice Patreons, you know, Candyland and the Doctor. You know, you can do all that. None of that's gross. And we, you know, don't ask you to gamble. Not yet. Our Moderate might.
Mediocre videos earlier than everyone else with your name at the end.
Hey. Yes, you should definitely do all that. You know, check out our Discord, check out our Patreon. Thanks again to the Doctor and Candyland. I forgot your names there for a second, but I remembered them now. I didn't have them written down like I usually do. My bad. Yeah, you know, and Moderate, do you have anything else you want to say before we got to wrap things up here?
I don't want to start yelling again, so no.
Okay, well, everyone have, you know, a nice week. We'll be back, you know, when Gaijin probably makes this worse. Maybe when they make it better, you know, most likely when they make this worse. Let us know what you think about the auction house. Let us know how much you're going to gamble. And, you know, we'll see you next time.